Hey, Rachel.
Hello, Anne.
Hey, Julia.
Hi,
Grace.
Julia. Kelly McFadden. Hello. Great to see you guys.
Hi. Hey, Pam. Hey, Pammy.
Hello.
Good morning from the U.S.
Hey, Dwee. Sandy.
Pam.
Oh, you're all
Guys,
all her glory.
Laura C is on tonight.
Laura C.
Cool.
Awesome.
There she is.
So lovely to see you.
Hi, guys.
Yay.
Hey.
Andrew.
Very
Hey,
cool.
Andrew.
We love you guys. You're all so awesome.
Right, we've got a few people still coming in.
I can carry on letting them in.
And we'll make a start. Well,
Awesome.
it is so good to see you guys. Me and Rachel are not sure if we're existing outside of time right now because we both got jet lag from being in the States. We had the most amazing time, which we want to kind of catch up with you all about, and we'll do that towards the end of the call. I know there's quite a few people on the call that were at the Gen Now conference that we went to, and it was really epic. So we definitely want to share with you what we've learned and what God's been saying, and obviously get a little bit of input from the guys that were there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought tonight what we would do is just
Can I just mute everybody and then whoever's speaking can unmute so that we got a clear thing? Is that cool, guys?
yeah, go for it, Rach.
So Janine, if you want to unmute, Elizabeth, Tanya, whoever. There we go.
Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
She's so good at all the admin bits. I'm not so good. We started to find out, haven't we? It's more intermittent.
Wonderful, Janine. You do wonderful.
Yeah, one of the things I kind of thought would be cool to do, which we never do, is just get everyone to put in the chat kind of where in the world that you're from. Because one of the things I was kind of feeling as this community has been growing is that it'll be so cool if people start to gather together. And I actually saw that happening in the next couple of years where communities would start to form all over the world. So every time we go to conferences, people say, do you know anyone else in Canada, or do you know anyone else in France, or wherever it may be in America? So maybe I don't know quite how we'll do this, but maybe we'll start off with America. Maybe you want to put your hand up if you're in. Do you want to start reeling off the America?
Yeah. Yeah. The Northwest, the West Coast.
Hey guys, we've edited this part out because most of the information was in the group chat. So once we've had a chance to collate it, we will post it in our Facebook group. But now back to the session.
Well, I just want to frame up this year more community and people connecting. So I know perhaps there may have been people in your region or area where you live, and there may not be, but I just really felt it was important for us to start to engage, being around more people who think like us, that can worship together and kind of be inspired. I really think that that's part of what is coming, is part of the future. And it'd be great just to see that happening, and for us to start framing that up, because community is so important in it, isn't it? It brings life. So we're very excited about that. Mm-hmm. So tonight I'll just give a bit of a framework for what we're doing, and then we can kind of move through it. It's really great to have you all with us. We absolutely love this community and creative space, and the way that we're growing and expanding into the fullness of what God has got for us all. It's really fun to kind of watch over the years of what he's doing within us. So tonight we're going to have our usual ascension, and we're going to have a bit of a fun whack ascension. So we're going to have a meditation with Justin on, which John Whelan has actually put some dance trance music to the background of. So that'll be fun. So it's about 7 minutes long, so you can kind of turn your screen off if you like. I'm going to show a video and you can just kind of engage. It does kind of go very kind of electronic, but it does come back down to more of a WOM as well towards the end. So just enjoy it. If it's not your thing, just have a little dance to yourself. It is definitely more of a whack tune, which we absolutely love. And we'll be talking to John another time about how he creates this music. So just to let you know that. And then we have a guest on tonight, Leilani, and Elisabeth is going to speak to her, and we're going to be hearing from her. She's really cool. She's a multidisciplinary artist, and she's just very sweet. We don't know her, but the time that we have spent together, I know it's going to be very cool what she shares with us. Awesome. And then what I wanted to do after we hear from her is just get everyone on the screen together who was at the same conference as Rachel and I. We went to the States with Justin. He was preaching at the Gen Now conference in Dallas, and it was very unique conference. There was so much confirmation for me personally in what we're doing in this community with the creatives, with the artists, with the sound, with frequency, with beauty, and how we are engaged in the future. So I just thought it'd be really cool to kind of get everyone on screen and just share that with you so that we can keep kind of in the loop and just see where that goes. So let's do our ascension first, and then we'll kind of move on through our evening. So, Father, we just thank you, Lord. I thank you for every person on this call, Lord, and everything that you're doing in the earth. Lord, we just tune in right now, Lord, to this frequency of life and joy. I thank you, Lord, that there's life and joy, that there's the fullness of joy for us to engage, and we just open our hearts up to you and the fullness of your kingdom. The kingdom of life. Lord, we thank you for what you're doing in our lives, in earth, in the cosmos. Lord, that your kingdom is ever increasing, it's ever expanding. Lord, and that we all have a voice and we all are participators in what you're doing.
Yes.
So just open your heart up right now. Let's just come into heart coherence together. Thank you, Lord, that we're one in heart, spirit, mind, and body, Lord. Thank you for the oneness of being in you, the Lord, that we're hidden in you together, that you've seated us in you together. Lord, and as we just engage this fun meditation, Lord, I just pray that you would just engage us on a new way, that you'd speak to our hearts, that you speak to our minds, Lord, that even our bodies would respond, Lord, to you tonight. Thank you, Lord, that there's angels all around. There's glory all around.
Yes.
Thank you, Father.
Yes.
Thank you, Lord. Okay.
Your heart is full of life. Take a deep breath and just focus on your breath. Sense the breath replenishing you. It is spirit and it is life. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I know this is a beautiful moment. surrounded by love. This is the frequency of your life. And just focus on your breath. We are one. Change the world is oneness. Oneness with God, oneness with each other, oneness with all creation. We are one. We are one. There's a different energy on you now. This is what will change the world, is oneness. Oneness with God, oneness with each other, oneness with all creation. We are one.
Wasn't that awesome?
That's really cool.
That was fantastic.
Thank you, John.
That was really cool. I love it.
Ah,
From love, oneness with each other, the world, with God, with creation. It's so beautiful, isn't it? Imagine what the world would look like if we all moved from love. That truly is the future, isn't it? that's the way, that's how it's going to end. We already know the end. So thank you, John. That was really cool. And we can't wait to chat to you. Give us a wave all the way from New Zealand. So yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon. And his beautiful wife, Rachel, look how amazing she looks in a lovely hat.
Yeah.
It's so funny when you guys are kind of in sunny places and it's actually really cold here in Wales, isn't it?
Yeah. Does something to your brain.
It does. But isn't it cool that we're getting to meet with people and engage with people all over the world? And what I absolutely love is that when we're in a room together, it feels like you know each other. And we've experienced that when we've hung out with Elisabeth and when we actually met Tanya in person this last weekend. She's a real person, people. But what is quite funny is you expect people to be taller than they are. That's what I found out, because you only see this much of people. So when you see them in real life, you're quite surprised how small they are, which is quite funny. Yeah, it's just, we're so thankful. We're so thankful for what God is doing. It's so wonderful.
Yeah.
We're just, I don't know, we're just in such awe of what is coming. And, you know, these little sessions are just a little kind of foretaste. But I'm going to throw it over to Elisabeth now to kind of bring Leilani on, because one of the mandates God's given me with this group is many voices. And it's beautiful how we all contain a facet of the reality of God. And it's beautiful, isn't it, to hear people from all over the world, how they're engaging his heart through union, through their artistry. And I know that we spark each other. I know there's a connection that is happening when we engage each other, and it's so great to kind of provide this space for people that we might not have come across before. So I'll throw it over to you, Elisabeth. Go for it.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I'm super excited to be talking to Leilani today. And Leilani is a friend. We have a growing friendship, and we actually kind of met indirectly because we were both contracted on the same creative project. I was doing the music part of things, and Leilani was doing the visual art part of that project. And so we sort of got introduced to each other by that, and then have just struck up a friendship. And I just really love who Leilani is. Just who she is as a person, who she is, the expression of her life in every creative realm. I love the way that you see creativity, Leilani, and that the way that it permeates your entire life, that you really are living in this place where you've not compartmentalized this. And I feel like we really are breaking out of that sort of mindset of compartmentalization and creativity. And this is my area of discipline, or this is my area of mastery, or, these certain things. And one of the things that I love about you is that you are an interdisciplinary artist, a creative. You do lots of different things, and you do them well. And I think that, that has been more rare than it will be moving forward. It's what I like to call the world of multi-potentiality, and it is exploding in the creative space in the earth. We're finding that, hey, our hearts contain eternity, and we are living in this wide open space where we can now actually, as creatives, delve into more than just one discipline. And we can actually be good at multiple things. So I love that about you. I'm going to just kind of toss it to you, but I really just want to honor who you are, Leilani, and your family, the way that you are raising your kids. I mean, it's just really, really beautiful. There's creativity all over it. And so there's a particular conversation that I'd like to open up with you. But first, I want to just have you kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more of like, what are some of the areas that that you are, moving in creatively, and kind of your philosophy around that.
Beautiful. Thank you for such an amazing introduction, Elizabeth. I really honor you. I honor all of you ladies and gentlemen. I know there's men involved in this as well who've set up this space. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I just want to honor you for facilitating a platform that I can come on here and just speak and share what I have to share. I'm aware that my battery has maybe 10% left on it. So if I disappear, I will reappear.
Okay.
So who am I? I am Leilani Hayes.
Frames. So I got
I am
the frames.
Oh,
Okay, sorry.
somebody's got there. That's all right. Currently, I'm sitting in my favorite cafe, Evergreen, in Redding, California. But I am originally from New Zealand, and I'm about to go back there with my family for about 4 or 5 months. So we have not been back since 2019. So we've had 5 years in America, setting up and establishing life here. And I have 2 boys, 2 sons, Amos, who is 5, and Toby, who's 2, and my husband, Thomas. So that's my family life. I do have some visuals. I don't know if you got that in the email yesterday, Elizabeth.
I did, and let me see if I can pull them up while you're talking here.
Yeah, I think share screen was probably the best way to do that. I don't know.
Yep.
So I have been a creative artist for many years in terms of what we would typically call a creative artist, but becoming a mother has really expanded probably my language and my understanding of how we create and who we are to create. Might actually even pop over onto my phone once you get that up. I just don't want to be like halfway through
Bless you. Yeah.
and then get cut off. So
Yeah.
I don't.
Somehow my computer isn't talking to my phone, which is where I was going to pull it up off.
I mean, I can share my screen from.
You can do.
Yeah, let's do that. I think that would be easier.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I'm going to go inside and plug myself in because, sorry guys, about technical issues, but I don't want to run out of battery. So
we're used to it.
Yeah, give me 2 minutes.
Behind the scenes.
Chat amongst yourselves, and I'll be back.
We'll chat amongst ourselves. Awesome. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about some uniqueness that Leilani brings, and one of the reasons why I wanted to have her on, and one of the reasons why I wanted to have her on at the beginning of the year, and said to Janine, I'd love to have Leilani on, is because she actually not only moves in the creative space as a creative, as a multidisciplinary creative, but she helps other creatives to actually move into the place where they can make a living. She helps them with that piece and that part of it with a really healthy philosophy, in a really good way. And I know that there are a lot of you on here who are moving in these realms of creativity, and you would like to see more freedom in your life in that. And you would actually like to go into the place of making a living, making some money here for what you do. And so I wanted to bring her on. One reason is for that, so that we could begin to maybe introduce that into this space for those of you who are ready to go to the next level and you want some guidance. You want somebody who is doing this and who is helping others do it. So welcome back, Leilani. I was just kind of actually talking to them about the conversation that I want to open up with you, but I'm going to let you take it from here, and then we'll hop back that. So put a pin in that, guys, and Leilani, take it away.
Hey, I was tracking with you in my ears, so
Awesome.
Is my sound okay in here, you guys?
It's all right. We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna start by sharing my screen because I think it's probably just easier to show you like a bit more of who I am. I'm gonna go through it quickly. It's just my portfolio. So I've been knee deep in motherhood for the last 5 years, becoming a mum, establishing life here in America. Obviously, we're from New Zealand, but so I just want you to have that context of there was a creative life before motherhood in terms of like what we typically understand creative arts. So I'm 36 now. I'm in my 30s. This season is really a season of grit and within the motherhood space and learning some things, having certain things unraveled and then rebuilt. It's also interesting to me that it's COVID, post-COVID time in terms of like there's been things that the Lord has been doing on the earth. You guys see, it's a whole new world now, in terms of the creative space as well. And so, like many of you, I'm sure there's been a certain way that we create, and now we're like in this new era. And it's interesting that for me personally, my life has mirrored that, like going deep and hidden and being unraveled. And it's like, it's interesting putting all the work together over the last 10 years of my life. Like I just collated a bunch of stuff yesterday and I was like, wow, like creating and the process has really changed. So I'll pull up my screen. Hang on a sec.
Sure.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. So I come to you from a professional background. My background is photography and design. So again, I'm 36. In my early 20s, I studied, I did a visual arts degree. So that was 3 years of photography and design in a very different stage of industry. But I'm so thankful for it. And I then worked as a photojournalist for a couple of years in my early to mid 20s. And then did projects beyond that. So you're going to see a lot of photography in here and a lot of collaborative projects. So this is me. Oh, okay. So I've kind of prefaced this as different sections. So I'm going to read a poem to you guys, probably not right now, but at the end, the art of poetry. It's been something that you probably all know, and it's something that has followed me throughout the time. But this has been the last season of my life, the art of building family and community. So the reason I put this up as a legitimate creative art form, and as far as I'm concerned, is that it's foundational to, and you guys have prefaced the call with that, it's foundational to our success, I think, longevity in life and in all the things that we do. It's who we are and it's what we do as well. So it's both of those things. So in here, I have my 2 pregnancies, my baby boys. This is our local community in Reading. There's much more, but this is our home group and the families. We have 5 beautiful families, and that has all been built. So just like anything we create, we know these things and who we are first. We know who we are in heaven, but actually that lands on the earth as well. So my husband's in there. He is in the trading realm. He's moved out of paid employment into, like, I would say, fully fledged entrepreneurship. So we're in process with that, but that's one of our desired streams of income. My 2 boys there, building house. It's Amos and Toby. They've got a little car there that they're washing. And then this one over is just, so we have built a homeschool community as well. So all of this is probably not what I would have said was like my first dream in life, but this is what I've been invited into in the last few years from the Lord, is like stewarding a little Montessori homeschool with the kids community, and that's always evolving and changing. But that's been an incredible, I would say, success and beauty of this past season is learning how to lead, how to serve these kids and their families. I'm moving through this quickly, but this is more of me as a creative director and collaborating with other friends. So this is a beautiful. These are friends, Bethany and Luke, and I actually helped them to establish, when I first got here, I just had Amos, helped them to establish their vision to have a production company, so that we worked on the branding together, and then we worked on a project called Imperian. I've got the link there that I can share on the creative space for anyone who wants to look at it, but it's essentially a creation story, and they have this vision to have like a Cirque du Soleil type show with like, yeah, the Garden of Eden. And this project was about creating a trailer for investors to invest in their project, because they're looking for like millions to be able to actually fund this thing. So they're still in process with that, but we created the costumes, we created the ideas together. So this is about the fall of Lucifer and the garden. So I'll just move through the photos. So all the photos I took for them as well. So there's a lot of skin in this, guys, because the context is that it's Cirque du Soleil. So we've got some sexy angels in there. I'll just put it that way. But it was such a beautiful project to be a part of when Amos was a baby. So we've got some beautiful photos of him there. And I joke that, you know, sometimes childcare is so hard to come by that you have to let a fallen angel watch your children. Not really, but that's what we got captured in there. So this was our character for Father God, and you can see him there. He's pulling Adam out of the earth. So they chose to cast a young boy for that, and it was just such a beautiful project to be a part of. So part of the creative direction, and really we met together once a week and just worked on this for about 9 months. So it was a beautiful project. So some of my photography and design work. So I've kind of been a lot more in the fashion and beauty space. It's what my heart is for. Done lots of other work in that, but
Beautiful.
yeah, you can kind of get a sense of what my passions are in that. This is a friend who book work, the art of noise making. So this is kind of where I'm wanting to go. I aspire to be within the EDM and musical realm. So it was so cool to hear Don's music at the start. But I would say this is still in its infancy for me. So where there's mastery in photography and design, this is something that I'm moving towards mastery in. So I'm investing heavily in growing my voice and growing my ability to understand how to put a team together to produce. So this is still kind of a hidden space. That's why I've got a black background here, because it's where I'm moving into. So I'm really, really enjoying that. But I would say there's still time to work on that craft before it's like a child. Like you have something in its infancy and it's beautiful, but you got to grow these things into mastery before you launch them into the marketplace. That's my position on it. And then the art of helping others to be multifaceted, multidimensional, multidisciplinary. And I made up that word, multi-monetizational. It's my goal.
Love it.
My goal, and it's what we're still working towards. But essentially, this is the coaching arm of what I want to grow into. And so this is a body of work that I'm working on. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a program that I'm building at the moment, just helping others to lead and to build all of those areas. It's like building out our inner estate and our outer estate when it comes to creativity and family, and doing that in a very structured, prudent way. Prudence dwells with wisdom, and so there's a process to that, you know? So that's what I'm working on currently.
Amazing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Can you guys still hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
Yes.
Awesome.
Great. Thank you for that. Looking at all of that and seeing that, and what I'd really like for you to open up for us here. Let's just open up a conversation. This isn't really a conversation that we've had in creative space. And I think mainly because, there's a timing for everything. And I'd like to open up the conversation of, your thoughts on monetizing, your thoughts on your philosophy, your revelations around that, and how you see this kind of growing in the creative space of all of these creatives in the mystic realm, or whatever we want to call it. I don't really like labels sometimes, but you know what I mean, in our realm. I want to hear from you about this subject within our creative realm.
Awesome. Thanks for clarifying that. I would just say I'm not an expert yet. I'm a co-learner. I would say that I've been set on a path that is a pioneering one in this space.
Yep.
So please don't view me from
We're
that
good with
place
that.
of like, yeah, it's like
We're all
I'm still
pioneering
involved.
here,
Yes.
so it's all
we're all in
good.
process.
With
Yep.
you, girl.
Yep.
I'm going to speak from I don't say that with any shame. It's more about bringing others into that conversation. Like,
Yep.
if you see me and you're like, I know as a creative, we can be triggered at time when we see the beauty of what other people are producing and the just where someone's at. And I just want to say, if you're triggered, it's a mirror. You're being invited. I am you. I don't mean that in a, we don't all have the same identity, but God's placing me here in front of you to give you hope and to go, hey, this is like where we're all going. So I might have a few more things tangibly to show for it, but actually we're all on this journey. So I'm going to begin from my own journey. So I think investment is the first place I want to start. I have heavily invested in, and I can see kind of two tracks: investing in the community that is your like spiritual growth communities like this, but then also investing in the I am being coached currently. I'm part of a container of coaching, and I have been coached in various forms, whether that's going to university, basically investing in my craft, investing in like growing as a businesswoman. So I'm part of a community called Millionaire Mother Experience, and it's literally like, women who are in the world but making millions, and they have a different spiritual view on life, but the Lord led me to that. And it's heavy investment, and I would say at least the last 10 years of my life I could have easily spent probably $100,000 on this direction. I don't mean that to be like overwhelming, but like if you add up university study, if you add up the hours of me stepping up or not going into the workplace in certain areas because the Lord was leading, that's just the practical, tangible reality of like, we have our spiritual community and we have, we're in the spirit, but then also there's an embodiment process that has to happen for these things to grow into maturity. Right. You can't just dream about having kids. You've got to actually birth the kids, raise the kids, change the diapers, like all of that applies to, and there's resource. I heard someone say recently, it's actually my friend that wrote that book about money. She said, the gospel is free, but the distribution of it is not. And we are sharing the gospel through the creative realm, and so again, I don't mean this to be like intimidating for anyone, but I think
it's really good. Keep going.
Yeah, it's the sound I'm meant to bring into here is like to be in the container that I'm in with these other mothers. God had given me a dream a year ago that I would be in this space that's like a new age, it's almost like an occulty space. And he said, I'm bringing you here because I've stewarded things with excellence in a way that the church has not. And I just saw myself with one other friend doing it, who is doing it now as well. And we were just sitting in our seat, in our identity, and keeping our mouth shut and not coming into agreement with like some of the ways, because some of the stuff, like they're engaging other beings and stuff. And I'm like, I'm here because I only do what I see my Father doing, and he led me here. And so I have zero fear there, but I am amazed at what we've not picked up to steward because of fear in the church.
That's right.
And I don't feel afraid of that. I just feel like, yes, Lord, like we're ready to pick that up and go with it. And if he leads you into spaces that feel like, okay, this isn't like where I would spiritually land, he's doing those things simultaneously. So I stay plugged into a local church community, which is here at Bethel. That's more for my children and for our local community. And then I really love being part of some of these mystical communities. So I'm very heavily invested relationally in I would say spirit-led communities, but then also I equally invest in mastery communities. And a lot of that isn't Christian,
Right.
But I'm loyal to the truth and I'm loyal to wisdom in that. And if wisdom is leading, the woman that leads this thing, she's a mother of 3 children and a multimillionaire. And I'm like, there's something to learn from that wisdom. She walks in wisdom. She uses different language. But also there's this thing that's burning within me of like, we've got to steward this so we can bring it to the world in a non-toxic way, is how I would put it. Like that we're not bowing we're not bowing our knee to any foreign god,
Right.
because those things do have power, and these people are vibing off that power. I'm not judging it, I'm witnessing it. So feel free to interject at any point, but it gives me this like this resolve of like, we've got to grow up in these things, because in the absence of light, other things will occupy, and these people are further ahead of us in this space. Again, no hopelessness, no shame or condemnation, just facts.
Right.
You know, it's like, if we don't mature in a thing, it's the Lord's gift. It's poured out. His Spirit is poured out on all flesh. And so if they're stewarding that finance and that wealth, there's a reason they can charge $1,000 US a month, you know, to do that. And that's some royalty there in terms of the stewardship of the thing.
Exactly.
So I would say
think
those two things is invest in mastery and invest in character. It's character and competency. So our character and community in the spirit realm,
Yes.
you can't unplug for those things. You can't unplug from those things and those people just to pursue mastery, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, this is an extremely important conversation to have, because creatives, and Janine and I have talked about this multiple times. And actually, Janine and I and Rachel, we talked about this in when I was in Wales. You know, why is it that the creatives are never making any money? Why is it that, you know, that you know, and we're working our tails off, but you know, and we could have the conversation around what society accepts and what they value and all of these things. And the fact of the matter is, we must take responsibility, because we can blame it on society all we want, or some outside force that we say has an influence on why we aren't making money. But the fact of the matter is, we must take personal responsibility and say, no, I'm creating my future. We're talking about being co-creators. Well, are we or aren't we? Are we creators or are we not? You are creating the life that you're living. You are creating the life that is unfolding before you.
I'm going to get so whacked now.
I know.
And so if that is the case, then why are we not? Exactly what you're saying, Leilani. Somebody is going to pick this up, and there are plenty of creatives in the non-believer world that are making lots and lots of money. And it's because they know what they have, they value it, and they believe in creating their future. That's the bottom line. And so we as creatives have got to pick this up and go, look, are we going to take this seriously? Are we going to take our mandate seriously in the earth or not? You know, as music makers, as, you know, painters, as whatever we are, whatever expression it is, and the expressions that have yet to be expressed, because I don't like to box anything in. Anybody who knows me knows that. I don't like to be boxed in, and I don't like to box anybody in. And creativity in and of itself is unboxed. Right? It is uncontainable. It is uncontained. And so, you know, if we're going to enter into this realm, and if we're actually going to be the people who are a new breed on the earth, who are going to express the beauty of Zion in the earth, then we need to take this seriously. It is time to level up. And so this is part of it. This is part of it. Creating the life that you want to live. And looking at it and going, it includes finances. Money is not evil, right? Let me just kill the golden calf. You know, money is not evil. We are creatives. You have been entrusted with something very valuable from heaven. Do you believe that, or do you not? Let's do this thing, you guys. Let's do it. So, you know, I completely agree, Leilani, and we need to pick it up. We need to start to begin to think bigger and really like grow up.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Can I just say one more thing?
You can say as many things as you want. Yes.
This is such a big topic, and I'm like, this is part of why I want to create like a space to help others grow in this, because it is a process. And I hope that it doesn't take people as long as it's taken me, but like, I think you need to be willing to deal with the internal stuff as well, because I think as creative artists, something that I've noticed in myself is like, not only are we overcoming the things in our own, like, you know, we're new creation beings, yes. And also there are parts of ourselves that we are overcoming that old. We're learning to live in the new creation DNA. But as a creative, not only has society said you don't, you know, so there's those external voices, but there's things within us, not only our own agreements, but also generations of it, of agreeing with the impoverished artist. And so I've found in myself, I've had to have a season of overcoming that stuff of like, I can't agree with that anymore. I can't agree with that external voice. And so it's actually a pretty hearty process, honestly, of like, it's fun to be in that place of safety and with the Lord. Like, yes, I'm all about the realms being multidimensional, but then there's a process of bringing that down into earth that can get gritty and feel uncomfortable. And I think at times we have fallen prey to instant gratification as creators and as mystics of like, but I see it in the spirit, so that means I can have it right here and now. Well, is a baby formed when it's conceived and birthed the moment that it's conceived? No, it's not. And so I'm just going to say it, I never actually wanted to become a mother because of my own trauma and DNA stuff. And the Lord, and I was getting to a place in my career where I was about to be promoted in some other things, and He invited me into motherhood. It took Him about 3 years to get me agreeing to that. But I knew that I would have to face a lot of death, the overcoming of death, because that's where I'd made my death agreements of like my career, my body, all the things that the society says, like, you're not this, this, and this. Like, I've had to overcome those things. And do we really believe in long life and longevity or not? Because you start to get the long game of like, what are we building, not only in our own lives, but I'm like, I'm launching post 40, dude, when most of the world says you're done by then as a woman at all the external things. Because I know we're new creation beings and all of that, but also there's a reality of us being embodied and having to overcome in the areas that our DNA has agreed with our old DNA. So that may not be as big a process for some of you. It's been a big process for me. So
I think it's a big process for all of us, quite honestly. We all have the issues, you know, we just call it that. I don't like to say, I don't like that
issues.
word. But we do. We have the challenges, you know, in our own lives that we do need to deal with. And that is part of the personal responsibility part. And I'm so glad that you brought it up, because it is huge. It is huge in leveling up. Are we or aren't we who we say we are? Talk is cheap. So let's actually step up. Let's step up this year and let's do the work. Let's do the deep inner work that we need to do to be this new breed of people. Right? Let's take the personal responsibility and say, you know what? Yeah, hey, I actually now I'm willing to become aware of what I've been unaware of, that I actually have this belief system that is not serving me. And so now I'm going to take that and I'm going to take it apart. We're not doing that anymore. We're not doing the impoverished artist anymore. We're done. I'm unsubscribing, right? I'm unsubscribing from impoverished artists. I'm unsubscribing from poverty. I'm unsubscribing that, you know, artists in the world of believers are lesser, have lesser resources, anything, you know, all of those belief systems. We're unsubscribing. But each individual, I can't unsubscribe for you. Leilani can't unsubscribe for you. We must do it ourselves. It is personal responsibility, and it is a theme in the earth right now. The Lord is pouring out this theme, because what actually it is an invitation. It is an invitation. It is the come up here. It is the build according to the pattern that I showed you on the mountain. But we have to be able to see it. And we can't even see it beyond our own lenses when we haven't dealt with our stuff.
Yeah.
So, this is a strong conversation today, you know, you're getting a bit of my Jewish side here, yeah.
It's why I wore purple, you guys, because I knew it would be a hard conversation. So, you know, soften it up a bit.
Yeah, you know, but you know, it's good. It's really, really good. The kindness of the Lord is in it for us. The kindness of the Lord and the goodness of the Lord is calling us higher for our good, for the fullness of the walking out of our scrolls, right? We have choices to make. Do you want to walk out your entire scroll? Because you actually have choices, and you can make choices that kind of say, okay, I'm done with this part. That your choices will affect that. Do you want the fullness, or do you want to stop short? And Janine and I and Rachel and Rob, we're speaking for Rob. He's in the air on his way to America. But I'm speaking for, you know, all of us. When I say we hold this creative movement, which is a small word for a much bigger thing, what's happening here in the earth. We hold it in our hearts, and we hold you all in our hearts, and the fullness of what you, the fullness of you, the full expression of you in the earth. That you would walk out your complete scroll, your scroll in completion. So that's why, you know, sometimes we do have to have these conversations that say we've got to deal with these belief systems, and we've got to level up. Because the goodness of God and the kindness of God compels us, because Zion is calling, and we must answer. So. All right.
Love it.
I want one more subject I want to bring up with you, Leilani, and then we're going to toss it back. I'm going to toss it back to you, Janine, because I realize that we're running long here. But
carry on.
But Leilani, I wanted you to just touch on, and this will touch on another belief system sort of thing. And you and I have had a brief conversation about this, but the subject of mastery and being a master in a certain area, or having mastery in a certain area, and then you're coming into this space of like, okay, I'm going to come into electronic music now, and you're a complete beginner. Can you open up some thoughts for us on that? Because I think this is going to set a lot of people's hearts free tonight or today, wherever you are in the world. So I'm just going to toss it to you, and wherever you feel led to go on that question, let's do it. And then we'll toss it back to you, Janine.
Okay. Thank you so much for all the time, ladies. The first thing I want to say is the creative process and anything we do in our life is non-linear. It's not a single line to one point to another. It's cyclical. And so, yes, it's, you know, it's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. We've all died, but also we die many deaths. We die many deaths in life. And I think this isn't my first rodeo in terms of like dying a death to certain things. Like when you feel that the Lord is asking you to put something down to pick something back up, like it takes courage and trust and humility to trust him in that. And sometimes it sucks, honestly. It sucks sucking at something when you know you're really good at something else. And I think if you've got to a place of mastery, it's just like when we go through school, like, you know, you get to the highest grade in the school and you're part of that group, and then you go to university and you're down at the bottom again in that way. Like it's all through life, it's cyclical. And so I think knowing the voice of the Lord and being like, hey, I'm inviting you into this thing, it really does take a lot of courage to go back to that like infancy of a thing. And there's going to be days where you probably don't enjoy it. You've got to understand there's grit to the creative process. you posted something about this the other day, Elizabeth, that I just loved, because I'm like, yes, exactly. Like there's a time for catching all the vision, and we love that because we're naturally visionaries when we're creative and artistic. And then also there's the execution of that. And for me, because I've been through at least one cycle of like learning that it takes time to get mastery in photography, I can then apply that process, although it's going to be slightly different, to like, hey, I'm going to start in the creative music realm, and I'm not keeping things private because I'm ashamed of it. It's because this thing is in its infancy, and if I were to put that music child out in the creative space, like, or in the marketplace, not only would it not be good for my own heart and my longevity in that space, people wouldn't take it. It's not the time to put it out there in revealedness. So just work at it. Don't despise the day of the small.
Mm-hmm.
That has been so hard for me when I carry such a big vision, for things to be like, don't despise the day of the small. Like, this is working towards something, that consistent mastery. And you can't get away from investment or support systems around you. If you do everything in isolation without like a coach or without someone who's better than you at something.
Yeah.
And for me, what that's meant is not being offended at the young generation and young things like AI, new things that we've paid a price for those. Like, I've worked in film, like, manual photography and then digital photography. And you look at the ease with which people are creating, and young people are creating money and wealth. It's so easy to get offended at that, instead of being like, I've really purposed my heart to honor that and be like, Lord, like, help me move through the stumbling block of offense into honoring that, because there's something we can carry wisdom to help. There's not nothing that you have if you find yourself older in years and feeling like left behind in that. That's a mindset that has to shift. And we just take that to the Lord of like, okay, I'm feeling insecure about this, and that's okay. It's okay to feel insecure, and also like come to him in that place and ask for help to move into that, because we're meant to be connected. It's not just all the youth get it. It's not just all the young things get it. It's both ends. So I think
so good.
that probably answers it.
Yeah, it's so good. We've got to be willing to take the risks. And as creatives, we are naturally risk takers, but I find that we can get rigid when that mastery comes, because we can get very comfortable there, right? And then we get scared to, like you said, like kind of scared to put it down, so that now I'm a total beginner over here. But if we're going to open up the world of, again, I'm making up words, you're making up words, we all like to make up words here, of multi-potentiality, if we're going to open up that world, if we're going to believe that eternity is in our hearts and that all of the realms are there, and that really it's all built in, and I'm in the universe and the universe is in me, and I'm in the heart of Yahweh and the heart of Yahweh is in me, that I am in the mountain and the mountain is in me, that we have this space. And so if we truly believe that, then we will understand that we can have courage in the process, because we have access to resource always. And it's exactly what you were saying, Leilani. Mm-hmm. What you did to develop mastery in one area, you can apply to another. So know that you're not completely like hanging out there with nothing, but have courage. Mm-hmm. If you feel your heart is calling you towards something you have never done before, do it. Mm-hmm. Do it. Mm-hmm. Now is the time to do it. Mm-hmm. This is the year to do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm feeling this so strong. And we've talked about multi-potentiality here, and I've talked about it for years, but I'm feeling more and more the urgency of it in the earth. Mm-hmm. That the Lord is saying, come out of your boxes, come out of your limitations, and actually just open yourself up to the wide expanse of your own heart within the heart of Yahweh, and everything that is contained there. Mm-hmm. That it is all there for you to actually mm-hmm. now branch out and do things that you have never done before. So
consider it a fast. I really feel called to fast this year, and that in a broader term, I still say this before we go back, is like fasting from fear. Fasting from the old way. It's not necessarily food, but like fast from your own supply. And what that might look like. I was just thinking about my husband stepping out of work 3 months ago, paid work, and not having the supply of a regular paycheck, a known thing. And that's when I signed up to literally $1,000 US a month. We don't even know where that money's coming from, but we both said yes to it just for me to be trained in that. And that's fasting my own supply, and just trusting the Lord. Like, we have the currency of faith. We have relationship with Yeshua. We have relationships. So if he's saying do a thing and invest that highly, obviously don't be foolish, but like fast your own supply. And that might look like signing up to that coaching thing or signing up to whatever.
Yeah, it's good. I think, that is so good because, I always say fasting is removing a crutch. It's just removing something that you use to prop up your life to feel good. And it kind of numbs you out in a way. And I think that fear is mostly seen as a debilitating thing, or it's a debilitation. But truly, fear is actually a crutch, because we actually build frameworks around our lives to protect our little fearful space. Mm-hmm. It is a crutch. And so to get rid of that actually gets rid of a lot of the side issues that are numbing us out, that we cannot move forward. So it is not only debilitating, but it's the thing that we actually lean on and that we use to prop our lives up and create around us the framework that then becomes the expression of our lives. So nothing could be more important than removing that completely from our lives in this process of moving forward. So good, Leilani. I mean, I wish we could talk all day long. This is so good. And you're just amazing. I so appreciate you. I so honor you. Just who you are, who you are and what you do, but who you are, because who you are is the root of all of the expression of you in the earth. And I love it so much. And the beauty of you is expressed in every part of your life, and there's no separation. And that is very rare. And I absolutely love and honor that. You are an example. You do hold a very unique place in this creative movement. And so we so value your voice and what you're bringing to the table. And I know that this is just the beginning of a wider conversation and a deeper conversation that will unfold for creatives in the earth in propelling this movement forward in many, many ways, multiple facets. So thank you for coming on today. Love you. And I'm going to toss it back to you, Janine. And yes, thank you.
Yeah, that was a beautiful conversation. Thank you, Leilani. How can people connect with you?
Yeah, great. At this point, just follow me on Facebook. We are going through a bit of a restructure as a family, so I'm not going to have any kind of like official offerings or anything like that. Not that this is what that is, but if people are wanting coaching and support in that, I plan to do that in the fall, because we're moving out of one era as a family into another. So there's a methodical process to that. So we're going to be in New Zealand until about August. But if you guys just watch my Facebook, it's the only place that I'm putting anything at the moment until I expand out from there. So things are in the works.
Perfect.
Well, feel free to share when you do have everything set up in our Creative Space community page, because that's what it's for us to all see what everyone is engaging in. And there's so much that just stirred me with what you shared, especially after the weekend that we've had. I think that we're going into this year with a different kind of thinking. God's really renewing our thinking. He's setting us free from the stories that we've told ourselves, that like Elisabeth was saying, I love it when Elisabeth starts to preach. It always gets me whacked. She's such a cool preacher. But that thing of we don't have enough. But that's just a mindset. That's just a story that we tell ourselves, because we all have something that God's put in our hands. And actually being abundant is almost like a thought process and a modality that we're meant to engage in the one who is the fullness of life. And I think, the more that we come and merge into that way of thinking, the more that we carry a realm around us that attracts life and abundance. And, I know that, it might look different. So we might not have financial abundance, but we'll have it in other areas. And I think that these things kind of start to shift and move things around our lives as we start to not focus on what we don't have, but focus on what we do have, not the lack. And even, kind of reframing the way that we engage some of these thought processes, and I'll just be really vulnerable with you. Many of you guys know that I'm dyslexic, but this year I'm thinking I really want a breakthrough in that. Why should I be limited? Exactly. I'd love to write books, and I'm not going to accept that blockage is a part of my story.
Come on, yeah.
I'm disentangling from that because there's no limitations. We live in the one that is limitless, and we are limitless within him. And I think, as a community, I'd love for us to start encouraging each other and posting those kind of things within the group in the ways that we are changing. Maybe you want to put in the group the things that you want to break through in this year. Maybe that is financial. Maybe that is something that you want to put your attention on in your time. But for me and my husband, just this year, we went into the year engaging life in its fullness, John 10:10, and we are engaging health and abundance, and abundance isn't necessarily financial, although I'm open to that. But it's just living in that abundance of his heart, because that's who he is to us. And so I want to exude that out of our lives. And he makes his paths of life known to us. He fills us with joy. That's what it says in the Psalms, isn't it? But it's such a great conversation, because we were at this conference. Me and Rachel went to support Justin to Dallas. So it'd be a great kind of thing now to kind of get everyone, if you maybe put your hand up if you were at that conference, and Rachel will kind of get you on the screen. But in the meantime, I just want to frame a little bit of it up, because what I love doing in this space is sharing what's going on all over the world, because we're part of a global community. We had Nancy Cohen there, so that was so much fun. And Jen now is actually run by a lady called Fiorella Giovanni, is it?
Giordano.
Giordano. Who is actually such an inspiring person. I got so just inspired by the realm that she carries, which is the realm of life and immortality. They're really kind of going for that. And it was just such a thought-provoking conference. So I thought it'd be great to kind of share some of the thoughts with you. Tanya was there, so it was great to see Tanya. Many of you know Tanya. She obviously shares all our art. But one of the things that they had a couple of speakers. So they had Nancy, who, I don't know how many of you know Nancy. Nancy's a legend. She is like the spirit of life incarnate. I think like lightning. You just feel the energy of life all around her. She's amazing.
The lightnings this weekend.
So. The lightnings of God. I could feel them. She was sat behind me, and the whole time I felt like I was getting pummelled. But Nancy walks in this kind of supernatural realm of life and all this stuff that we're kind of talking about. And then you had another speaker called Nicholas Anakande, was it? Surname?
I couldn't remember how to say his surname. Sorry, Tanya, do you remember?
No, it was a phenomenal last night.
It's Acuna.
Yeah.
He was awesome. He was a tech entrepreneur and a student of life. He called himself. He's sort of like a mystic futurist, but he really had a gift to kind of put together perhaps all these things that we've been engaging and asking what if questions. So that was really fun. You know, one interesting thing that kind of tapped into the conversation that Elisabeth was just having with Leilani was that, you know, they were talking about fasting and how if you fast for 48 hours, it resets your dopamine. So you're basically you're fasting so that you can reprogram your subconscious, because sometimes it's the subconscious part of our lives that are triggering the same cycles, and we can be doing all these things. And he was sort of saying about, you know, what is it that you're curious about and finding those things. And sometimes we use up all our curiosity allowance on all these subconscious things. And he was saying like a practical way to sort of reboot that could be, you know, the benefits of fasting. So I thought that was really interesting. Seems as you guys had mentioned it. But, you know, Fiorella is just an awesome person because she's gathering people together who are talking a lot about the subjects that we have, and our amazing in-house preacher, Elisabeth Cooper, who talks about like the beauty, like, of God in the earth, and how the future is, you know, around the beauty of God, creativity, sound, frequency. And what was so interesting is that they were engaging, well, how do we kind of outwork that? And they're actually gathering a charter of immortality. And it was kind of like the visions out there. And I feel like through many people, including like Justin, you know, when we've had Justin on, he's talked about the joy economy and how that future is going to land. And it was like as if this group of people were kind of breaking it down and how we're going to accomplish this. And what I found so encouraging, guys, is that creativity and sound and beauty are all things that they were saying is going to bring in the future, you know, the things that bring us joy. And that is the future of money, is that we do things that bring us joy. And the fact that, you know, 40 will be nothing to start something new, because we're going to live so long that we'll be constantly having to find new things to fill our lives with, and we'll move towards those things that kind of bring us joy. So anyway, I'd like to hear from some other guys. Do you want to go? Should we go around the circle? Do you want to say hi? And you kick us off, Tanya, because you were
Okay, hi.
How did you find it?
Oh, well, I'm still actually trying to process quite a bit of it. It was just so full, and it was just such an amazing, it was an encounter. And I think what I want to say to add to what we're talking about today is that Nicholas was talking about how future buildings in architecture will become the building that can host many dimensions, and it can host dimensions of sound and creativity. But the more I was thinking about creative space today, I think that we have to realize that we are an architecture as creative space. Right here within this, we create a dome of drawing together sound, frequency, color, all of those things, vibration. We can and is a architectural design of what the future holds. And when we realize that, and we come together as a group of people, and we start creating a synergy within ourselves, we can open the future with ease, you know, because like Leilani was saying, like, this is a area of business that she's pioneering into. So in fact, she's actually plowing into the soil for us. So those that are struggling, when you know and you can tap into that, you're going to get it quicker and easier because we honor the price that she's paid. And in so many areas, like if there's someone in here like Elisabeth with poetry, Janine with sound, Rob, if we tap into it and we draw from that realm, we all step into that so quickly. And it's no longer this process of struggling. It's a process of drawing from the glory that someone else has already paid the price for you. And I think that as futurists makes it where we can now become this community, and we all hold each other. And we can draw from the energy from each other.
So good. Love it.
So Iris, do you want to share?
Hi, yeah. That was amazing. I mean, my thinking changed, I would say. It's a different paradigm of thinking. When I feel like my beliefs are the same, but I'm approaching my beliefs in a different fashion, if that makes sense. I also felt that the beauty of everything, the architecture of it, the reason it's important for us as creatives is because Psalm 84 is how lovely is your dwelling place. So if something governmental is coming down and establishing a new architecture in our, even in our biological and physical realm, because that's our responsibility, it has to be a lovely, beautiful dwelling place for the Lord. He inhabits the beauty of it. So that's our part. That kind of blew me away when I realized, oh, as a creative, you're part of the government. And that never occurred to me before. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Anyway.
That's my next song, by the way, guys. Shameless plug there. I'll be released in next month.
Awesome. Well, it was just a lot of fun in general. And I miss Texas. So I miss Buc-ee's. Don't you? Miss Buc-ee's.
Oh, yeah. Buc-ee's was a vibe.
We were introduced to Buc-ee's whilst we were.
Yeah.
That was the only exciting place we went, really, wasn't it? Because we were like,
yeah, it was
the
so
conference
important.
to the hotel. So Buc-ee's was
Buc-ee's, yeah.
Disneyland for us.
Anyway, that was my takeaway, that I didn't realize as a creative, it's governmental. And there was so much, like there's so much to unpack.
It was so much.
Days and hours, but that was the main thing that hit me. So thank you.
It was so much, wasn't there? Like I was trying to like gather my thoughts today, because like traveling back and everything. I was like writing like pages, like 1, 2, 3, and I was like little things popping. So I was messaging Shannon, one of the organizers, just saying, can I have the recordings, please? So that I can kind of like chew over some of the messages and what was released at the weekend, because all the messages were so chunky. I mean, Justin brought the joy, but tied into the joy economy that Nicholas was bringing, which Justin has seen from like way back. There was like lots of things tying together through the speakers. So the 3 speakers that were there, they had very different delivery styles, yet they just weaved so beautifully together and brought so many different facets of the Father and heaven into that place, isn't it? So everybody could receive it. And that's where I love what Nicholas said as well, was ingest to digest. So you can take it in, but then there's this digestion process that takes a while to kind of like, and it's okay to take the time to unravel things, and because they're heavyweight things, they're not things that are going to be done like suddenly, and change your thinking takes time. You can have the revelation in a moment, but to actually unravel it in the day-to-day, in your creativity and what you're doing, how you're working, how you're living your life and in your family, it's going to take a while to unravel it all. And I think that is because we've grown, a lot of us have grown up in religious kind of structures and constructs. This thing that we have it all together, and I've got to do this now, and I've got to do that. And that ruins the process, because he wants it done in pleasure and enjoyment. So I'm glad they threw that in there as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sorry, your name says Owner, the lady with the lovely dark hair. Do you want to share? I don't know what your name is, sorry. Go for it.
Oh, that's funny. I thought owner was just for me. Like, I had no idea that. No, well, good. I'll claim that. I own a cattle in 1,000 hills.
Come on.
So my name's Elaine. I met Tanya at Gen Now, and so she was the one that invited me. This is the first time that I've kind of come into this space. And honestly, what I really took away was just the experience of being in a room full of like-minded people. And I walked in and I literally was like, these are my people. Like, I think we all kind of struggled with, I don't know where I fit anymore. It's hard for me to sit in a church. And so a room full of people that I sort of automatically know I don't have to explain that we're all one, that we're not separated from God. I do think the beauty was mentioned over and over again. And so I think I intuit beauty. I love C.S. Lewis. Like, once he's got a quote about that we want beauty to literally pass through us and we become one with it. And I don't think there's any other place where you feel your connection as a co-creator. Like, you feel something bigger than you, like you produce something and you're like, I don't know how I did that. And so that, just experiencing that kind of with other people, I wrote in the chat, I felt like I was listening to Nikola Tesla, like the first time Einstein or Tesla started explaining things about their vision for the future. That's kind of what I felt like. And so there was practical with how do we build these cities, stuff about minerals on the earth, and that economies have been tied to minerals, whether it's petroleum, or cobalt or lithium. That was, Nicholas talking about that, and that ultimately we're going to get beyond that. So there was a practical sense of giving a vision for I really did. I felt like I was sitting there listening to a Tesla, meeting Saint Athanasius, meeting Richard Rohr, like in the same body.
Yeah,
it was cool.
And yeah, it was more, for me, it was more of an experience, because this was my first, I've been following Justin for about a year online. And when I saw they were going to be in Dallas, I live about 2.5 hours away. I was like, oh, that's a no-brainer. I have to go. I have to, be with these people. And so that's who I just met amazing people from Houston, people from Oklahoma, like, to go out to lunch. Like, one of the times we just sat, we held hands, and we literally experienced frequencies together with a woman who got saved a year ago out of the new age, out of doing crystals or body work, like, and to experience her prophetic kind of gifts. That part was amazing. So to me, it's always about the people, and just the crazy connections that you, like Tanya, meeting Tanya. We had this great conversation about smells and the brain and, and God. And I mean, I felt connected with her from the beginning. So anyway, so yeah, I'm looking for anybody in Texas that is willing to just kind of connect. I had a blast.
awesome.
Great
Oh,
meeting
So
you.
cool.
And I'm going to change my name.
Beautiful, Ashley, go for it. This girl is so lovely, guys.
Yeah.
it was
Oh, thank you. I was, I was so overwhelmed the whole time I was there. I kept telling Erin, like, I'm vibrating. Yeah, wow. It was just such an amazing time. I think, man, I just honor you guys being able to be with you in person and put some just hugs on everyone was so lovely. I got to meet Iris and Tanya and Rachel and Janine and Justin and Nancy. And I got some of Tanya's fragrances, and they are seriously realm inducing. Like, I think I just stood in the back and sprayed myself.
They are
And my
gorgeous,
frequency
guys.
was definitely impacted. I brought some of them home with me. But yeah, I have the honor and the privilege of being a part of Fiorella's team. And to see she's just so full of grace, so full of wisdom and just mystery and awe and wonder. To see what she is building and to see the link and the bridging between her and Nicholas and Justin and Nancy was just absolutely, earth shattering. So I'm just so full. I am so blessed. And then to be able to have this conversation with you guys. And thank you so much, Leilani, for what you said, because I definitely am a creative and a craftsman and have been a worship leader, but also have all of these other modalities in my heart, and stepping into, the fullness of the measure of God, under the reign of grace. We are the architects of the future, you know, and I just found it so fascinating that the Lord kept bringing beauty into it as a part of the governance, because it really is, beautification is such a part of governing, and governing in sound, governing in light, governing in unseen creation and the manifestation of his heart. And so I'm so like overflowing. I can't wait to just kind of sit down. I have 5 children. So for me, that was like a real like vacation, you know, but just to sit down and unpack and to be able to begin to press in. I know that this year is absolutely going to be a time of implementation. And I just absolutely, to be a beautificationist and a futurist and a synergist, I'm just absolutely looking forward to what the Lord is going to unfold in all of us. It's so beautiful. I'm so inspired, and 100% felt like these are my people. I was like floating around like a butterfly, just like loving on everyone. It was life-changing. So honored.
Yeah. I think what I loved is that it was, sorry, who's that?
Sorry, I was just going to say that, you know, even though all of us felt like there was so much given, there was an ease that you received out of the Spirit. Like everything that came, the whole word that came, the frequencies that came, I think there was such an ease. And just while everyone was talking, I felt like, you know, God is saying that within this year, if we let go of some of our control, we'll step into that ease. Where fear tries and controls. With artists and creatives, if we let go of control, if we let go of fear, then we flow so naturally in our given ability as creatives. It's when we try and control it out of the space of fear or not trusting or don't know what's next, that's when we start stepping into a place that you're creating from a space of knowledge or flesh, and not out of the flow of your spirit. So I just felt like he's saying to us, just come into the ease of your creativity, just flow in it, and you'll feel how you become more and more authentically yourself.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think what I really loved, and what I'd like to do is for us all just to end with just engage in the feeling of the future and the frequency of the future. That's what I felt to do tonight. You know, because maybe you didn't, you know, get to go, but if any of this conversation is really sparking you, it's well worth getting hold of the recordings, because I feel like what's actually happening is we're not parking around one thing anymore. Justin talked a lot about like the kingdom, and how, you know, many people that have listened to the podcast would have heard him say how we're so past empire now. You know, it's not, when none of us are building our own kingdoms, our own ministry. You know, we're here for the glory of God being revealed on the earth. And that was what was so amazing about the conference, is that it was, you know, we've kind of come out, not come out of, but been in a time where we've learned about being mystical and being mystics. But, you know, we can't stick with these labels, like Elisabeth was saying, these boxes have kind of got to go. And one of the things that Nicholas was saying about how frequency is like a wave pattern, and how things will be kind of not box like in the future. They'll be built from frequency, wave patterns, and they'll hold a frequency and a wave pattern. And you know, whatever we do, we're kind of, it's for the bigger picture. None of us are kind of building our own culture, but I love the heart that's coming, because we're preferring one another. We're not kind of getting triggered by, you know, somebody else's got a worship track out and I've got a worship track out, or done a painting. It's so much bigger than that, guys. It's like, you know, the world should be exploding with everyone revealing, you know, the most they can of the amazing God, the awe that they've got within them. And, you know, we're learning just to think that, wow, all these people around us are just exploding with all this creativity. So, and I think it's some of these things that are happening, and even on this call tonight, is because our mindset is changing to think in the future. Nicholas, the guy's called himself a mystical futurist, I think it was his website, which I really love. But you know, even that, we won't camp there. There'll be more to come, you know, with all the Hebrew stuff, with all the, you know, our joy stuff. All of these things are vehicles that keep on kind of adding to us, and we keep on growing and expanding. You know, we love it all, we're part of it all. So maybe if we can get everyone on the screen, and let's just kind of just do a little engagement together before we all leave. Didn't you feel free to chip in, Rachel?
Sure. You see everybody, Janine?
I can't. Maybe I've got the wrong thing on.
On your view, top right. Gallery.
Oh, yeah. Lots of button press. I did see the view thing, but it's gone. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at all those lovely faces.
They're awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So let's just take a moment, just to ascend. And the other thing is, you know, what was really made clear to me is that seeing from God's perspective and being in that place of ascension is vital for the future. You know, we're not going to embody a lot of this stuff unless we kind of go into that realm and have face-to-face talks with the Lord, get the wisdom from above, get the creativity. You know, it's not actually an optional thing. I think one of the quotes that Justin uses a lot is that you can't use the solutions from the earth that created the problems in the first place. So we have to go to that realm which is above. And you know, we're all learning to do that in varying degrees. But one of the other things that I think that we want to let the Lord do with us this year is take us to our boundary lines. That's what the Lord was showing me, is like, how much do you know of him? And you go to that place and you let go, and so that you can move forward into more of who he is, so he can teach you more. And to do that, sometimes we've got to say, okay, I don't know anything. You know, you've got to sort of yield. And it's tricky, isn't it? Because sometimes we're all learning and there's loads of knowledge. But I feel that this is a year where we're just going to get taken to that place where he takes us to the limits of what we know, so that we can move beyond them into the future. So Father, wow. Yeah, Kish Kendere. Kiande. So just let your heart be expanded right now as we're all in his presence together. Just feel your heart and your spirit rising towards him, locking in. Being totally filled and flooded with light. Being illuminated by his holy, beautiful presence. So I'm just going to pray now, but you just engage him with your heart as well. Father, I just thank you that the future is bright, it's glorious, it's full of joy, and it's abundant. Lord, would you let us feel, Lord, the frequency right now of your heart, of the future version, Lord, of what you're doing with us. Thank you, Lord, for your presence. The energy of your life that is your life within us, within me, which is your glory. Thank you, Lord, that we are in you, seated in heavenly places, in the glory, in the light, in the life, in the frequency of life. And we just feel that right now. Wow. Thank you. Lord, I just ask that would move into every area of our lives, Lord, into our minds,
Yes, Lord.
into our thought life. Holy Spirit, that you would just highlight those places where we're not in agreement with the spirit of life and abundance and the frequency of the future. Lord, where in our bodies we're not engaging with life, abundance, and the frequency of the future. Lord, we just ask for just a shift, Lord, a shifting to come, Lord, as even as a community this year for us all. Lord, that we would embody more. You know, as Elisabeth talked about, Father, that we just sit with you and do the work, allow you just to show us, so that we just yield to you, Lord. We yield to the realm of awe and wonder. Yeah, just feel the frequency of his awe and his wonder, how beautiful it is, how vibrant it is. Just feel it in your body, in your heart, in your spirit, on your head. Yeah, we just thank you, Father. Wow, thank you for that spirit of life, Lord. The rivers of life. And we look with a heart, Lord, of expectancy towards the future and also in the now, in this beautiful moment, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Okay. So just come back now. I think exciting days are ahead, guys. You can all unmute.
Come on. Come on.
You know, feel free in our Facebook chat to, you know, write out things that you want other people to agree with, or where you're from, or share your art, or wherever it may be. Keep in connection. If in the meantime, our next creative space is going to be, I think, on the 19th of March, because we've got this rhythm of every other month. I don't know if you guys have picked that up. And partly that's because Elisabeth, she's got a lot going on her Patreon community. So if you want to engage more with what Elisabeth is doing, she's got Hebrew and worship and frequency and loads of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Rachel and Justin have got Epic Patreon call, which is this Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Is it telepathy, cardiogenosis, this one, Rachel?
Cardiogenosis, yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be a fun one to be on. And Justin, we had 5 days of deeper night, and then we flew to Dallas. So I think Justin's going to be probably on a roll by then, because there's been no let up. So that should be really fun. And I'm going to be starting, I will post about it, but if any worship people, I really feel to start engaging the musicians and the songwriters. I'm going to be doing something in the every other month, which will be free to my patrons. But if you're not a patron, there'll be like a little subscription for it if you want to kind of engage with us. But there's going to be four sessions, which are going to fall in the every other month. If you're not available, there'll be a replay, but you can kind of look out for that. I'll post it on the group. But I really want to go deep into ascension. You know, I really feel it is something that we need to unpack more and understand and engage with the worship in a new way. What does worship in the future look like? So we're going to kind of do that. And many voices, you know, that's a big part, David's tent, of what we kind of carry. So if you want to know more, you can message me on that. But let's all unmute and just say howdy to everyone.
Howdy.
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 Keep creating, guys.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Post it.
Love you guys. Thank you so much. Bless your heart.
Beautiful evening.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
We love you guys. Love and next time.
Guys.
Nice to meet you.
Ciao for now.
Hey, Deborah.
Bless you.
Yes.
Danke. Ciao for now.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.